Right now, just about a self-sustaining fire, created entirely with the SOG Bowie hand saw and some WD-40. Hey everyone, Cubworks LL coming at you with another blade review, this one being on the beautiful, functional, altogether awesome SOG Bowie. Before I get into the knife, I'm going to just briefly tell you this knife has a lot of heritage behind it. Originally SOG stood for Studies and Observations Group, and this knife is made in keeping with the original SOG knife, with this double scalloped blade design here. That was an original feature, but this is the knife with all modernized material of what that very popular SOG knife was. So I'm going to get right into the knife. It's 11 inches overall with a 6.5 inch blade. The weight, I'm going to just double check this on the scale, but I think it's 10.7 ounces. Yep, 10.7 ounces or 30 grams roughly. And with the sheath, awesome sheath by the way, I'll get into that, is 14.3 ounces. So, now, onto the knife. This blade, I'll just start on this end and I'll work my way down again. This is AUS 8 steel. AUS 8, or AUS steel, comes in 3 different classes, 6, 8, and 10. And this is kind of right in the middle. And I'm going to talk briefly to the AUS 8 steel. There are a variety of people that have issues with it. I am not one of those people. Sure, it's not the best steel out there, but if you increase the steel quality, you're also going to raise the already fairly steep price point at $100 or $120, depending on where you buy it. YourCornerStore.com sells it for around $120, I believe. And AUS 8 steel has quite good edge retention, and edge holding is awesome. This knife did come razor sharp out of the box, and right now is possibly just a little bit sharper because of the way I sharpen this here. It was very coarsely ground, so you're going to want to go over that with a leather strop or maybe fine stone to take all the teeth out of it, or your edge won't hold very long. And now it's down to a mirror finish, as you can see. That's due to the way I sharpen it. Totally smooth all the way across. Yeah, I'm kind of taking a chance showing you this here, but I'm not actually pushing against my finger. And on this, so yes, AUS 8 steel, I have no problems with it. It's not my steel of choice, but I think it fulfills its intended role quite adequately. So now I'm going to just show you on the blade here. We've got this just shy of a 1/4 of an inch thick stock. Awesome, I love that. Gives it the capabilities of a way bigger knife, and because it's so sharp and yet compact, it'll perform in almost any role you're going to put it in. And as far as those roles, let's call this maybe a utility knife, outdoor knife, and maybe a small or a medium, or maybe, yeah, probably medium survival knife. Not the best in that role, but it would perform. And of course a defense role or a deployment blade for army guys, those kind of things. This knife would certainly be a good fighter. I have no doubts that this would perform awesome. It's got this good sweep, the traditional Bowie shape. It's been proven and it works. So now I'm going to show you, here's another thing that'll give it that defensive capabilities or fighting capabilities. Check out that tip on this. It comes down to a very, very fine tip, and yet it's tapered from both sides here, so it's adequately reinforced, excuse me. And unfortunately, I don't think the camera can catch this, and I've fixed the issue slightly, but this knife was not quite perfectly ground. You'll probably never notice this, but because I make knives, I actually could tell here that it's not perfectly ground even. There's a little bit more steel on this side of the blade over here, but it doesn't really change the performance at all. I've seen the same in a K-bar, so it's not a great big worry. But yes, very, very fine tip, and yet still reinforced enough. You could sharpen this clip if you want to. For the rolls that I'm going to put it in, I'm not going to do so. So that should cover the blade. Os 8 steel again, 1/4 inch thick, traditional Bowie shape, but double scalloped, as the original SOG knife was. Doesn't it look nice? Totally awesome. Oh, and before I forget, yes, titanium nitride coating on this, which is polished very well so that you get this gloss finish in it as well. I love this. I'm going to try and do this on some of my knives that I make here. So, it's also very functional. Like, this titanium nitride is stain resistant as well as being rather lubricating in this case, because it's polished here, so it's going to go through material better. Hollow ground on the blade here with double scallop shape. Okay, now onto the handle. This handle is maybe just a little bit small for some guys. I have hands that are medium large, maybe closer to medium, but getting towards large. And this knife is more than adequate for my hands, but if your hands are any bigger than mine, it could maybe start to run out of room here. The handle material on this is Kraton, which is now my handle material of choice by far. If I make some knives, I'm going to try and do this. But yes, it's got these finger grooves here, deeply checkered, so it's got great traction, and also lends itself to a variety of different grips, such as this one here, reverse grip like that, actually even a little better here because of these finger grooves. And on the handle, we've got these white washers, which SOG talks about on their website. They say it's never been accomplished before. Maybe it hasn't. I don't know if it's actually a difficult procedure, as I have no experience actually building with Kydex. I haven't done that yet. Or sorry, excuse me, not Kydex, Kraton. But they do talk about the look of that, and that's very true. It does look great. Totally awesome. So, further down on the knife here, we've got this butt cap, which, oh, well, whatever you call it that if you like. I don't really prefer that, but this pommel, sure, we'll call it that. And yeah, it is a hammer and also a non-lethal impact device, maybe even lethal depending on how you employ it, but this could certainly be a knockout if you hit this full contact, because the tang runs all the way through. This is also a great utility feature for like hammering stakes or what have you. I've used it in that role, and it works quite well because of the extra heft of this thick blade. And on the handle also we've got this hilt here out of stainless steel, and it performs its well quite perfectly. For some reason, I don't know why everybody seems to do this, but it's just natural. Having your thumb in there for extra control, it works great. And also, this guard is small enough so that you can still reach over and move up on the blade like this, should you want to. And yet, it is large enough to possibly prevent a blade from coming down if you were in a blade-to-blade attack or encounter knife fighting. I don't see that happening, but whatever, it's there. And it doesn't impede functionality at all. So, yeah, overall, a totally awesome knife, especially considering all these features. Here's this sheath here, Kydex drilled here, so it's waterproof. I'll just quickly show you a couple different deployment options you can put this in, or carry options, excuse me.
Here we have just standard belt carry in a tip-up position as well. This is just demonstrating how it will not come out even without the retention straps. Here are some nylon straps that I built for concealment. Under the shirt it works quite well as well. And sorry about the lack of clothing here, but it was kind of necessary to show you how it's retainable underneath the shirt with some nylon straps that I've made.
So yes, this feature right here, the quick release, is very functional. This Tech Lock style, it's by American Sportsman's Products, patented feature. Put it over your belt, lock it in. It's also screw-in construction, so you can just reverse this into a left-handed carry, which is this right now, so you left-handed guys, SOG still cares about us. And totally awesome. Lightweight, very performable, and totally removable. And even without this retention strap, the knife will stay locked in. As you can see right here, I'm banging this on the desk and doing this and that, and it ain't going to come out. Definitely a consideration for any of you knife guys out there. Little on the expensive side, but totally awesome for performance. One of my favorite knives. Thanks for stopping by. Cubworks LL, out.